We back with another episode of Politics and Black Family. I'm here with my guest, Amelia Siamomua, running for District 40, Senate seat. Let's talk about it. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. Such an opportunity.
Yeah, beautiful.
Be here. Yes.
Thank you. I'm glad you reached out because I reached out to you and was like, I would like to hear about your policies and what you got going on. It seems very interesting. We're going to get right into it like we always do.
Mm-hmm.
I read that you worked at the United Nations.
That's right.
What? Let's talk about that. I'm very interested. I've never met anyone that worked at the United Nations. I always wonder what it's like. What do they do? The average day. Share with us, please.
Thank you for the opportunity again. United Nations is a body that is made up of member governments of 190 plus countries, and these are sovereign countries in their own rights, and the headquarters is in New York.
Yeah.
And it's very much focused on social and economic development. It's also promoting, peace and security. It's promoting sustainable development. Also, the United Nations has got the Security Council, which is an important body for countries. And this is one of those things that a lot of countries want to be members of this international organization because of its mission and the vision for sustainable development and peace and development for all its member countries. United States of America, of course, is a key member of the United Nations.
Yeah, good. How was it, what was your experience like personally? Like what made you explain to me, what a good day looks like at the United Nations?
Yes, a good day would be when you have, your list to do, getting things done. And I was one of the advisors, a development economist. And what made my day was really to see results coming from the development cooperation and projects that we were doing in the third world countries.
Yeah.
And, it gave me the opportunity to visit, to really realize that poverty is real.
Yeah.
The struggles that we are now experiencing here in the United States of America is what I have seen through the eyes of the United Nations in working in Africa, working in Asia and the Pacific, and in small island countries, which is where I originated from. So it's a real experience. I think it's also a privilege to be working for such an organization that promotes human development and sustainable development in this day and age.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yes, and then you've got your bad days, which is the long meetings. This is an intergovernmental organization whereby member countries have got their ambassadors based in New York, and there are long meetings of dialogue, policy dialogue. So you go home very late because these meetings have no deadlines or ends. They have to resolve negotiations, etc., etc. But otherwise, life continues. If you're really dedicated to development and helping third world countries and even the United States, this is where I started a passion for development and helping people.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for sharing that. So let's bring it back to your story, son, right? Because now you're running, and I would like to know what made you want to run and throw your hat in, like, hey, I'm going to do it.
Yes. Well, Raphael, I am just another ordinary citizen of the United States like you.
Yeah.
And after having worked here in Atlanta for a nonprofit called CARE, C-A-R-E, which took me to work with, the vulnerable people, looking at the brackets of low-income people here in Atlanta and also in New York, and it took me outside of the country. And so I grew a passion, and I also saw the faces of poverty. I saw the faces of insecurity, inequalities, all these challenges, which leads to injustice.
Yeah.
So after having a career of almost 40 years, I've returned home. Atlanta is home. DeKalb County, my family migrated to the United States in 2005. And it was my work that brought us here.
Right.
But now that as I'm retired, my family has benefited so much from the US.
Yeah.
My 4 boys and 1 daughter, we came here, they were still in high school.
Yeah.
They've benefited from education.
Yeah.
They've benefited from a good job, having a good life. And I think, I've lived my American dream.
Yeah.
It is at that point of my life, since I lost my husband a year ago,
Sorry to hear
that
that.
I want to give back.
Mhm.
I've lived my life serving the public
Beautiful.
and seeing all these challenges. And as an ordinary citizen, I don't want to continue to be complaining and to be seeing things that I want to see change
Yeah.
by the sideline.
Yeah.
I believe that if we don't stand up now, I don't know what kind of future does my grandson have in the next 5 or 10 years with the way things are changing.
Yeah.
So, long answer in short, I just wanted to give back.
Yeah.
I just wanted to give back to my community,
Yeah.
to the people of this wonderful
Economic
country
growth.
that
What
we
does that
have.
look like? Yeah. So share with me, what do you think District 40 could use for economic growth, and then America?
Let me preface by saying, when you look at these issues or these challenges of life, we must look at it holistically. You can't just pick out inflation without seeing the connectivity of inflation to many other social issues and economic problems that we have. So in saying so, in Senate District 40, when I've been knocking on doors, I can say that people have been struggling because of the inflation. And something that I've tried to explain or to share with many of my friends. Why does inflation happen? Inflation happens because we produced or we oversupplied our money, the US dollar. The federal government has been producing so much of these that that it devalues the value of the US dollar.
Yeah.
If you walk into Kroger today, your dollar, your purchasing power has diminished.
Indeed.
And that is because of that is the devaluation, and that is what causes the inflation. And the goods that we get, the supply of the goods that we get are more expensive.
Mm-hmm.
So in terms of supply and demand in economics, the supply of money has really gone up, but that doesn't mean that the value of the US dollar remains the same.
Yeah.
So that is something that we need to understand in terms of inflation. It does give rise then to the increase in the cost of goods and services. And we must understand as well, where is America getting its goods and services? It's unfortunate that we are outsourcing a lot of these services externally outside of the US, whereas we have locally made goods here. We also have local contractors, and that is something in terms of economics to look into. We should be really prioritizing who we, as a government, who do we give our contracts to. America first. It is about us and our people. That should be first in terms of that. On another scale is really looking at small businesses, and I commend you for your small business.
Thank you.
There are many things that, in terms of policy, in terms of legislation, that could support, in terms of incentives, let alone tax.
Yeah.
That is another subject that we can talk about, to empower small businesses,
Indeed.
small farms,
Indeed.
that supply the goods and services that I as a consumer buy in the market.
Yeah.
And I think, that inflation, that also leads to the many issues that we see in terms of poverty.
Yeah.
I am so sad to see the homelessness in my Senate district.
Yeah.
You just drive down Beaufort Highway, you
Yeah.
see a lot of homeless people.
And it wasn't always that
Why
bad.
are they outside
Yeah.
there?
Yeah.
Why has the problem escalated to put people on the side of the road in that connection? Why weren't they prevented from being, homeless?
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a lot of answers to that, but for the sake of this conversation, these issues, you look at homelessness and also the housing cost. People have given me, their concerns about increasing of housing costs. And let me just stop there, in terms of security and safety, it's also related to the big economic issues and economic problems.
Yeah.
now security, now every home is trying to have a security measures, have
Yeah.
cameras.
Yeah.
It's all interconnected.
Mm.
If to resolve the economy, we must have the right policies and legislations, the infrastructure, an enabling environment, so that everything is connected, and hopefully the policies would facilitate an enabling environment for a more robust economy.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm so concerned for Senate District 40 in that sense.
Yeah, well, I'm glad we got you, because it seems
Yes.
like you'll get the job done. And I'm going to move the conversation along. We're going to get into get to know you a little bit, right?
Yes.
So I went on your
Thank
page
you.
and I was reading about you, and this is how I learned some of your highlights of your background, and I came across tennis.
Yes,
You like tennis.
I
Right.
do.
How did you fall in love with tennis? I live down the street from a tennis court. I walk my son down all the time, and I watch the players, and I keep telling myself, I'm gonna get out there one day, but I haven't got out there yet. I'm still trying to pump myself up to get out there. But how did you get into it?
I would really encourage you to play tennis,
Yeah.
and also to have your son take tennis lessons.
Yeah.
And it's a game. It's a game where you learn so much about life. I see it that way. It's my way of de-stressing,
Yeah.
unwinding, and also meeting people.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that you can meet over a game of tennis,
Yeah.
social game of golf, of course.
Yeah.
And I also follow my tennis champions, Serena and Venus
Yeah,
Williams. They are my champions. And and I
Do
see
you know how many
Coco.
Grand Slams Serena Williams won?
I can give you a guess because I've been following her. I think she has 23.
That's the exact number. It's like
Yes.
right here. Written. Wow,
Yes,
she's good.
because this is being a fan of Serena, and if Serena is watching me, I'm one of your greatest fans. 23, you
Yeah.
did it.
Yeah.
And I would like to see Coco.
Yeah.
Coco, go in the same direction.
Yeah.
It's one of those values that you have in life. You share as a human being. You share common values. You play sports because you do see issues of respect. You discipline yourself in a game.
Yeah.
And I think these are the shared values that our ancestors, our politicians like Freddie Douglass,
Yeah.
they wanted to see us living a life that is free,
Yeah.
a life that we enjoy the freedom,
Yeah.
the liberty,
Yeah.
and sports is one way of
Indeed.
doing that. And I encourage my 5 children to take up tennis, and now
Yeah.
they're grown ups. And but tennis
Yeah.
is
It's a life sport.
It's
huh?
a life sport and
Yeah.
a great game.
Yeah, beautiful,
Yes.
beautiful. Let me
Yes.
ask you, what do you wind down to as far as music? Like, what's the vibe you like to have in your house when there's no politics? It's just you and a glass of wine, and you're just relaxing. What's the vibe? Are you playing Miles Davis? Is it hip hop? Is it R&B? Is it soul? What is it?
Well, Raphael, growing up in a small island country all the way in the South Pacific, I must say I used to listen. I had a little small transistor radio those days, and we dialed up to American Samoa, where we listened to something that goes like this, American Top 40. And that's where I used to fell in love with all these soul musicians like
Yeah.
Barry White,
Yeah.
like Marvin Gaye,
Yeah.
all these, and
Yeah.
the great ladies of Aretha Franklin,
Yeah.
of you name all these.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you got it all.
I had, I think I was very fortunate, but through a transistor radio.
Yeah.
And that's where I started. And then I came to the US, and then now I've got the opportunity to watch all these shows. But I love, I still love the 70s, the music in the 80s.
That's the best music. Yeah.
Yeah, the best music. I
Yeah.
still, Earth, Wind and Fire, Stevie
Yeah.
Wonder,
Yeah.
you name it.
Yeah.
Those are my very
Yeah,
favorites.
your playlist sound like mine. I'm kind of old school. My wife, she keep me up to date with all the new music, but I'm pretty old school. So let me ask you, and we're going to close it out, then I want you to look at that camera and let them know why they should vote for you come November 5th. What are you bringing to Thanksgiving if I invite you to my house? What dish you going to cook?
Yes, I am bringing a new voice. And my new voice will be to listen, to listen to my constituencies, to all these cities, and I will be listening, and I will be elevating your voice for the common good. My platform is based on the American shared values of liberty, of freedom, of opportunity for all, entrepreneurship, and also of self-reliance and self-building ourselves through our good common sense, wisdom, and of course, enabling our God-given rights to be fulfilled by respecting the American Constitution. Check me out on ameliaforgeorgia.com. I am your new voice for Senate District 40.
Perfect. And there you have it. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Always. We're going to wrap it out. And that's it, y'all. Politics and Black families. Peace.
Peace.
Perfect.
That's a cut.
Thank you.